Hi, my name is Sissy. I have been reading Korean BL Manhwa for a long time. Back in 2014, I started reading fanfiction and yaoi manga, but I stopped for a while and in 2020, I stumbled upon it again during COVID lockdown.
Hi, my name is Leah. I started reading Korean BL manhwa 3 or 4 years ago, and the reason why I started reading this is because during the pandemic I watched an anime which is famous for its bromance. I'm not gonna tell you which anime it is. The reason why we made this video is because we have lots of complaints about this genre. If we discuss each one in detail, this video would likely be longer than the audiobook of 1001 Nights. Therefore, we decided to divide our critique into different episodes, focusing on various aspects separately. So in this video, we will focus on 5 generic problems that are compelling to most of the audience in this genre.
Okay, let's get straight to the point. First of all, the character design is generally bad. There are always these few characters who are the regular cast members of this section. The first one is a student who is constantly busy attending soju parties and frequently finding themselves at risk being taken advantage of after getting drunk. The second one is a young, pretty, and unemployed guy who has inherited a massive high-interest loan from his parents. The third one is the upper middle class guy who is either a lawyer, a doctor, a professor, you name it. And the fourth one is a super rich guy who makes you realize that actually every Asian country has their own version of Crazy Rich Asians. These 4 regular cast members appear in this section in random combinations. This lack of various social roles as protagonists makes me wonder, does this have something to do with the low birth rate among ordinary Koreans? Because it seems like they think ordinary people cannot arouse people's sexual desires. The second flaw of this genre is the bad storytelling. Most of the plots are actually in service for sex scenes, which lead inevitably to the boredom of the audience, and then they start to ask in their minds or the comment section, when will the next nude scene come? In addition, both the lives of the super rich and the super poor are ungenuine and unrelated. But since many people do live in parallel worlds, this perception might just be my personal issue. Moreover, there are also other confusing things such as unreasonable redemption, stupid plot device, lazy writing, lack of logic, and so on. And all these factors lead to the inevitable unconvincing happy end, which makes me ask myself, what did I just read, except for the hot nude body? And this bad storytelling problem also makes me wonder, is it mainly because of the time pressure in the manga industry, so the creators don't have enough time to write a reasonable story? Or is it mainly due to the creator's lack of observation of society and human relationships? Or maybe both? Generally speaking, BL manga is really bad with character development. Because they have character development, the characters need to first have initial flaws. If the characters start without any major red flags, there will be nothing to develop except for the romantic relationship, which is why I think a lot of stories are tropey and blind. Sometimes authors go to the extreme, make the characters completely bad people, which is almost irredeemable to me. Then those traits get romanticized for the sake of storytelling. It's funny how a long-time BL readers are so used to the problematic protagonists, because a genuinely nice and caring top is a rare gem.
There are so many times when I have this thought after clicking on a new manhwa. This guy's not a normal person with flaws. He's a mad person with unforgivable mistakes or even crimes. Based on what Sissy just said about the random combinations of 4 types of protagonists in this genre, let's start with the fourth thing in this genre, the typical couples. So, the most common one is, of course, monogamy with a power imbalance, which means they are the student with a lawyer, the employed with a lawyer, the student with a super rich, the employed with a super rich, or the lawyer with a super rich. The poor student pairing with the unemployed is a very rare combination in this section. And the bottom is always the student or the unemployed. You tell me why? Nonetheless, from my observation, in these 1 or 2 years, the macho rich bottom shows up more and more frequently in this genre. The second common one is the love triangle. which means sometimes the lawyer and the super rich appear as twins, which doubles excitement, or actually suffering, for the unemployed. The third common setting, gang rape. The only extra work is to copy and paste more of the lawyer and the super rich characters, which can make the scene look more vibrant. Another common setting is the Omegaverse, where the key difference from the previously mentioned scenarios is that the poor unemployed character must endure all the torment of pregnancy and childbirth. To me, this entire section is still heavily influenced by the alpha male complex and Prince Charming complex. It's characterized by fantasy and a yearning for rescue and care. Compared to men's fantasies in contemporary isekai manga and manhwa, who dream of being the king or the rescuer in a parallel world, this desire for rescue remains rooted in both creators' and audiences' patriarchal ideology. Therefore, the prevalent atmosphere in Korean BL manhwa feels like putting old wine in a new bottle.
To expand the alpha male complex issue you just mentioned, the toxic relationships that are ubiquitous in this section are our fifth point of criticism. The protagonist is always mentally ill, which is always the lawyer or the super rich. They are mentally possessive in sex and relationships, highly insecure, and they can start having sex with a poor unemployed wherever and whenever they want, without asking anybody in their toilet. Some of them are even undiagnosed sociopaths. I know now that you already have some faces in mind. The poor unemployed will then suffer all kinds of domestic abuse, such as forced isolation, sex without consent, emotional abuse, etc., but still doesn't give up on this super rich asshole. Well, how touching it is.
After all, human beings are horny. We are horny.
I'm not.
No, you aren't. So this is why we complain about the BL manhwa, but we will continue watching it. All the 5 problems we roasted above are from a general aspect and are not directed at any single work. So please don't feel attacked. If you have any thoughts or suggestions about this video, please feel free to leave your comments below. Love and peace.